What up, it's your boy Pat, aka That Varsity Geek, here with another video for you guys, talking about sports and something a little bit more serious. Now, you'd have to be living under a rock not to know the situation that's going on here in the US with the murder of George Floyd and the subsequent protests, public outcry, the outspokenness, everything else. And in times like these, us average, everyday people really look up to our sports stars and to the people that we follow on social media to come out, make a stand, and say something because we just don't feel like we have the platform that they have in order to affect change. And this George Floyd situation is exactly what Colin Kaepernick was kneeling for less than 5 years ago, and it's still going on to this day, which is a huge problem. However, with the murder of George Floyd caught on camera, the public outcry from Black people, white people, Hispanic people, Asian people, and from our athletes has been stronger than it's ever been in the past that I can remember. Many Black NFL players posted statements on social media echoing the feelings and the frustration that all of us Black men and women have had to live with our entire lives. These players are acutely aware that no matter what level of stardom they achieve, no matter what their athletic accomplishments are on the field, that the first thing that people see about them is that they're Black, and there's nothing that they can do to change that. No amount of money and no amount of prestige has ever been able to change that fact in this country. It still affects the way that they're treated by non-Black people, especially when it refers to police. However, unlike times past, support has really rolled in huge numbers from white NFL athletes, especially the star quarterbacks in this league, such as Carson Wentz, Derek Carr, Joe Burrow, and many others, just to levels that we hadn't seen in the past. In the past, the white presence from our star athletes was hugely missed or wasn't large enough to really affect change in the way that this country desperately needs. But this George Floyd video is so visceral, so evil, so full of malice. I think the most sensible people watching it have to just look at it and say, okay, this is enough. This is wrong. This can't continue. Black, white, or other, this cannot be happening. And now we're not only getting support from our Black star athletes, but also from our white star athletes, including the quarterbacks who are the leaders of the team. So support and statements from them really hold a lot of weight. And all of this support is much appreciated and much needed if we're going to fight for change in this country. But that doesn't mean that the message and the gravity of the situation has hit everybody in the same way. It's never going to in situations like this. Now, last week in an interview, Drew Brees was asked about what his thoughts were when concerning the national anthem and what he would think about players if they started protesting the national anthem and kneeling like they had in the years past. His response was that he would never accept and never respect people who are doing that. And I mean, hearing that in the situation that we're in is just a gut punch. This statement was in very poor taste, and in the days following, he's walked that statement back because of hugely scathing public disapproval. And when you think about it, that kind of thinking mentality is part of the problem that's held us back from progress for so long in this country. That coming from a white privilege point of view, that the thoughts and feelings that you have on certain subjects, such as the flag, outweigh the mistreatment and the lives lost from people who don't look like you, especially Black people in this country. And now I've heard Drew's apology, and I accept that as people, we're just going to make mistakes. We're in a fallen world, we're fallen people, so I don't expect everybody to be perfect. But after what he said in this situation and how insensitive it was, I really just need to see some action behind those words. Because it's really easy to make an apology when everybody's turning on you. But I want to see, at least an effort of trying to become educated, trying to learn, try to actually support people in more than just a verbal way in order to show that you really stand with us. And then you have what happened a couple of days ago. Dozens of NFL players, including Odell Beckham Jr., Deshaun Watson, Saquon Barkley, Michael Thomas, and others, sent a heartfelt, impassioned video to the NFL about racial injustice, demanding that the NFL condemns racism and insisting that they as Black players will not be silenced. And crazily enough, on Friday, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell did just that, issuing a statement condemning racism, encouraging players to peacefully protest in whatever way they see fit, and apologizing on behalf of the NFL for not listening to its Black players, Black coaches, Black executives, black workers for so long. And this is really a milestone moment in the movement towards progress, because never before has the NFL apologized about these things. Never before have they come out and said what we all know, that we have a racial inadequacy problem in our country and in the NFL. It feels like we've gotten to a point where our black athletes are just fed up and have had enough of the mistreatment of their black brothers and sisters on a daily basis, and they finally have the platforms from which they think that they can really affect change. And we also have many non-black athletes having to come face to face with the horrors, the stress, and just the unsure nature that black people have had to live with in this country from the moment that we got here, the moment that we were taken away from our homes. This is what Colin Kaepernick was kneeling for, and this is what the black community has been crying out for in pain and agony for so long. Change in this country for the treatment of black people. And in terms of this matter, there's no longer any room to sit on the fence. When presented with this kind of evidence of completely uncalled for violence, you're either on the right side or you're against progress that obviously needs to be made. And so for everyone out there listening, I implore you, look into your hearts. You know what the right thing to do is, so just stand up and do it. And that's just what I have to say on the matter. I usually don't do super serious videos like this, but at this time, I feel like it's appropriate that we honestly have conversations about these things, even if it's just relating to how sports are handling it or other things are handling it. So I hope that we can have great, positive conversations stemming from this. But I've been Pat, that Varsity Geek. Peace out, and I hope that we can continue to make some changes and progress in this country.